All right, let's get going. Today's been an interesting day. Let's head over here. I'm wanting to get back to the game. I just haven't had a chance to, because I've been busy recording 7 million other things. We played a lot of Elden Ring last night. We're playing it in first person on stream at the time of this recording, which is pretty fun. There we go. Had a good feeling about that one. This vein was depleted long ago. Huh. So that was fun, and I've just the whole time been like really wanting to play this, get back to it, because I really am enjoying this. I am going to, I think, turn some of that down a little bit. That's better. But the big news today is that Donald Trump was convicted for 34 felonies unanimously. So fuck that guy. Who knows if it will actually result in anything, but pretty sick that that happened. I'm feeling pretty happy about that. This way to God War Fort. The above has been crossed out and someone has scrawled the esteemed Rotten Onion Mercenary Camp. Sacred Shroom. Someone has scrawled fuck Angwin underneath. This way to Quill Village, purveyors of the prophetic Scryshroom tea. Alright. Oh, these guys, yeah, have silk glands. Let's grab some of this goodies here. What is this? Is this the sacred shroom? Stop right there. The man brandishes a particularly rusty sword in your direction. You're not ticking, are ya? No metallic limbs, leaky joints? Why would I be ticking? Because you might be a mechanical contraption hiding in the skin of a person. He gasps for air and blinks at you. Well, don't look at me like I'm daft. It's a perfectly reasonable suspicion. He prods you a few more times. Yeah. Well, I'll admit, you don't seem like a mindless killing machine from that blasted Clockwork Kingdom. It's just since the attacks have been pretty jumpy. What's that about the Clockwork Kingdom? New here, are ya? The Zoneric Isles are home to a certain Clockwork Kingdom, due east of this here hamlet of Quill. For a while, they were decent enough neighbors, except for those bothersome factories billowing out smoke and the occasional explosion rocking the whole isle something fierce. But folks say their Machine King went mad, and now some of their gadgets and gizmos are spilling across the border and wrecking havoc with my crops. Can you tell me about that machine that's been bothering you? He sighs. Aye, by mechanical monstrosities, he frowns at you. And don't laugh, I'm being sincere. They've been coming from the east, where the snow's been falling. Funny thing, never used to snow here. At first they were just little things, but lately one huge metal bastard has taken to tending my crop shrooms with its weapons. If I try and shoo it away, it attacks. I could try to shut it down for you. You would? Oh, I'd be mighty appreciative. If you managed to do it, there'd be some coin in it for you. The machine seems to lurk on a snow-tipped mountain to the east. Simplest way of dealing with it would be to smash it to pieces, but its armor will deflect any blow that ain't strong enough. Maybe there's some way of shutting it down. There were a couple of suspicious container crates that fell in the forest around here. Did you say you were getting attacked? The machine seems to... Okay, yeah. He nods. Neat. Neat house. Oh, I can sleep in his bed. He's gonna be my little farm husband. So we do seem to gain Delusion from killing enemies, so it might actually be useful to level up. I wasn't really sure if it would be, but it does seem actually helpful. It would be nice to get a better weapon in the near future. Alright, That's bad. Don't want to go over there. What's here? Hell yeah. Elixir of Regen. Temporarily reboosts stamina regen. This potion enhances the body's natural functions, accelerating natural recovery. Should be used with care as it unintentionally accelerates aging as well. Ooh, lockpicks. And that increased our total lockpick count. Oh no, I didn't mean to drink that. That's fine. It's a long ways down. All right, where's the sacred shroom? I thought it was this way, but I guess it's not. I wanted to take a look at it. Okay, that's God War Fort. That's Quill. This is the sacred shroom. Oh. Oh, God. I didn't mean to drink that one, but I did. Let me look at the controls. Switch item is Z. That's bizarre. Is that, what do I want? Is there one that would be useful to have that on? Inventory is tab. Recenter camera. C? Why would that ever be a thing? Oh, for that. Gotcha. Sure. What? Oh, this also pulls up the console. This is just telling me my player stuff. Okay, I will set that off of this and onto T, I guess. Does that make sense? Just reset them to default. It's fine. We'll use Z for this. It's a really bad location for it, but... Okay. What does Q do? Switch weapon is hold or tap Q. Gotcha. Maybe I just make it T. It makes it easier for me to hit. Okay. Jitter seed. I'm thinking of changing up my computer setup pretty significantly here soon in the future as well. I'm getting really sick of Windows. I've been wanting to make the switch back to Linux for a while. So I'm heavily considering that, but there's a lot I need to like back up and store and get protected if I were to do that. Like, I need to just get a drive that I can copy everything over onto. And that's its own thing. But the other thing is just, I have no idea how audio mixing works on Linux. I know it does function. I know it is a thing. Oh, interesting. And I know that there's a lot of software solutions, sort of similar to like a voice meter type situation on Linux, but I don't know of any hardware solutions that just work out of the box like my Go XLR. And I really like having my 4-channel Go XLR that I have on my desk that I can just like alter the volume of to my headphones and not like on a channel by channel basis and have it not affect the stream. Is this the sacred shroom? Certainly seems like it must be. Interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I need to do some more digging into it. I'm thinking part of me wants to just build another computer and test drive all of my use cases on it. But I don't know. The man sips his tea and studies you intently. New face, eh? If you've got business here, talk to Dwin at the counter. He's a proprietor of this business. I'm really only employed to make sure things go smoothly. And how do you make sure things go smoothly exactly? Well, the details are of such a nature that I wouldn't feel comfortable discussing them over tea. I'm a mercenary, you see. I fought with the Beyond Serpents, the Lundell Black Guard, and even the Dark Stars for a time. And now, he sips his tea, I protect the business interests of this fine gentleman, nothing more, so please pay me no heed. Is that Scryshroom tea you're drinking? He's quiet for a moment and merely takes a sip. Indeed. Tell me, did old Dwin there give you his speech about how he outsmarted his business rivals by drinking this stuff? No. He smirks. I'm sorry for spoiling the tale for you. The funny thing is he doesn't touch the stuff. It's more of a sales tactic, you might say. Whenever he does drink Scryshroom tea, he tends to get rather emotional and, he grins, empties his bowels prematurely. You see, Scryshroom may be a popular drug, but that's all it is to most people. A party trick, or a quick high. The truth is, most can't see the future from drinking it. The shroom has such potent psychedelic effect, any premonitions are lost within the fantasy. But the premonitions are there. You just need a low dosage and a certain discerning eye. That's why if you were to say, reach for your blade right now, I'd have my knife at your throat before you knew it. He smiles warmly. Now, was there anything else? I'll be going then. He smiles politely but says nothing. Ah, welcome, welcome. Pull up a stool. If you're looking for Scryshroom, you've come to the right place. He leans on the counter and thrusts a bulging eye in your direction. Do you know what Scryshroom does, newcomer? Yes. Then you'll have heard it, shows you the future. But see, that puts some folk off. They're scared of what they might see. I'm here to tell you it ain't like that. There ain't no cipher spell in the great library of Beyond that can do what the Scryshroom does. It plunges you into the river of time, so you can see the bends and the currents rushing towards you. Do you know how I grew this business? Not with luck, my friend. Oh no, I usually humble Scryshroom to outsmart my rivals. Now my company ships them to every corner of the Apostatic Union. So what do you say, you buying? Okay, you convinced me. What are you selling? That's what I like to hear. I got a pot of Scryshroom tea on the brew, and we got a few other odds and ends if you're hankering for supplies. I've also a room to rent upstairs for 2 coin if you need some rest. Let's see what you have for sale. All right, here's what we got. Scryshroom tea. I have 115 coins. There is stuff. Ooh, compass. Sturdy compass to orient oneself. It allows one to see one's position on a map if they have one. Absolutely buying that. Since magnetized lodestone is rare in the sky realms, compasses often rely on a simple magic cipher instead. So that was worth buying. Buy 2 of these. A mug of Scryshroom tea, the curls of steam rising from it twisting into strange and suggestive patterns. Drinking this tea brewed from Scryshrooms boosts your lore for a time, granting glimpses of knowledge and sudden insights. Do we just want to buy them out? Sure. Seems like it's useful to have. Always good to see a returning customer. What can I do for you? I have some questions for you. Well, if you want to know about Scryshrooms, I'm the person to ask. Been growing and trading them since I was this high. How's the Scryshroom trade? There's a typo here. Oh, demand's never been better. This shop I run's out of respect for the village, but really I make my money selling shrooms in bulk to merchants. There's a real penchant for the stuff. These days, peddlers, poets, and polymaths alike are drinking the stuff from Lundell to Venna. In the tea rooms of Biona, ladies and gents are seeing their futures unfurl before them. But I'd be lying if I said it was all good news. Harvest's been down lately, and each year we're growing less of the stuff. He speaks low, suddenly sullen. If Uncle were here, he'd know what to do. I'd heard Pull had a certain reputation for smuggling. Shoots you an angry glance. A lot of folk talk about that. A lot of folk don't know what they're talking about. Sure, a lot of mercenaries have set up shop around these parts, and yeah, we trade with them. But here in Quill, we pay our taxes just like anyone in the Union. That's why old Colwick sent to Riova to learn to be a waitmaster and all. His eyes narrow. And if you've been snooping around and seen some things you don't like the look of, I'd advise you to keep your trap shut. I don't pay Nut over there for his looks, you know? He protects my business interests, you hear me? Okay, thanks. Anything else? To peruse your services. Is there anywhere I can buy an Apostatic Union passport? Only Union officials and certified traders can dispense them. You'll be wanting to talk to our local waitmaster, Kulvik, over at the Way House, but he won't just hand him out for anyone. You look like a resourceful merchant. I have coin and I'm willing to pay. He narrows his eyes. Careful now, you're suggesting an illegal trade. That sort of talk could see us both rotten in an Inquisition cell. Charm. Don't worry, you can trust me. Squid shit, I ain't trusting just anyone who walks through my doors. Come again now. Alright. Wow, we need 15 charm. Oh, my charm's almost at 15. The man's eyes follow you with suspicion. His graying hair and weathered skin suggest he is older than most in the village, and a faded scar runs down his face. You're new to town, I gather? Well, I'm the local waymaster. Name's Kolvik. And or Kolwook. I'll have you know, before you engage in any business here in Quill, I'll be taking your weight. So without another word, please step on the scales. He gestures to the huge contraption behind him, thanking ye kindly. Alright, I suppose. He nods. Go ahead, then. In Quill Village, you meet Waymaster Kolwick, who refuses to speak with you until you are weighed on his enormous scales. You've weighed yourself, so it should probably report back to him. He studies the dials and symbols atop the machine and scratches various notes onto some parchment. Interesting. Very interesting. The prime glyph says you're a criminal. He shoots you a stern glance. The lesser glyphs are harder to parse. Let's see now. Crimes of a magical nature. Says here you forced entry into the Inquisition ship via a portal. You're either the smartest or stupidest wizard I've ever heard of. But there's one more glyph. Inquisition agent? He looks up from his parchment, his face struck with puzzlement. Begging your pardon, at first glance I thought you might be one of those Dark Star mercenaries running from the Inquisition raid. But you must have been fighting those scoundrels, huh? Yes, I'm a confessor atoning for my crimes. Well, far be it for me to delay Inquisition business. I've approved your visit to Quill. You won't get any trouble. He thinks for a moment. But say in light of your profession, could you lend a hand to this humble servant of the Apostatic Union? There's an Apostatic Union passport in it for you. You see, the Inquisition raid ain't the only reason we've been so eager to weigh people of late. There's also fears of a bloody god worship among the townsfolk. After all we've been through. He looks distinctly peeved. How can you tell so much from those scales? Those are morality scales. You'll see there's only one visible because it's magically linked at the fulcrum through a bond of cipher to a scale containing the moral standard. What's the moral standard? Just some kind of weight? He grins. Oh no, that would be preposterous. How could you tell so much about a person by weighing him against a dead weight? No, don't be stupid. The moral standard is a person, a carefully selected person who bears qualities deemed the epitome of Apostatic Union morality. By weighing you against such perfect integrity, we can tell what degree your character is lacking. I think the current moral standard resides far off in Biona University. They have to rest and sleep between weigh-ins, of course, which is why the weigh house is only open at certain times. Why does such a small town need to weigh people? Well, on account of being the fringes of the Apostatic Union territory, there are certain unseemly folk who've taken advantage of Quill in the past. Mercenaries like those Dark Stars in the fort over yonder, who've used us to smuggle ill-gotten goods into Hallowshire and beyond. So having a certified waymaster helps Quill attract reputable merchants to buy our Scryshroom tea. Shows we can be trusted to pay our taxes, you know? And we don't just weigh people, we can also weigh shrooms and grain, or, well, anything really. Was there anything else? What can you tell me about this town? Well, Quill's a quaint village these days. We've been growing and selling Scryshrooms since the early days of the Sky Realms, and shipping them all over the place. Business may not be as good since the God War. Killing your own deity will do that, but we're better off for being in the Apostatic Union. I'd take the Union's tax levies over a Wiccan blood contract any day. Are you happy to be a part of the Apostatic Union? More than a lot of folk. I've met travelers who lament the passing of the gods, who claim the Union swapped divine majesty for naught but politics and paperwork. But here in Quill, anyone old enough to remember the bad times. We've all anyone old enough will remember the bad times. We all lost friends and family. The goddamn soil was fertilized with their blood. Of course, for a long time, being in the Union didn't mean much. Here in the Oneric Isles, we're on the fringes, you see. And for decades, these isles were rife with outlaws, criminals, and Wiccan refugees. It's only lately that the Union stepped up its presence and built a council chamber in Hallowshire. Since then, trade in Quill's been booming. Turns out plenty of folk want to buy our shrooms. Now, if only our harvest could keep up with demand. What's the Scryshroom you grow? Well, it's a mushroom that lets you scry the future, see? Shows you visions of what could come to pass. Only it's not always right. Sure, every now and again someone sees a vision of something that absolutely irrevocably comes true and everyone sings the praises of the humble Scryshroom. Most of the time you're just having a bad dream. He shrugs. Still, people all over the Sky Realms want to buy it, so I'm not complaining. Puts food on my plate after all. You killed your own god? Aye, 40 years ago. Before then, Quill was prosperous and miserable. We were trapped into a blood contract with our tyrant god Engwyn, and the terms were abysmal. Our harvest was bountiful, but the blood price was high. Every year, dozens of villagers disappeared into the sacred shrooms to appease the divine bastard, never to be seen again. So when the apostatics came calling asking us to renounce our faith and join the fight against the Wiccans, we took up arms gladly. I fought in the Quillian division, and have the scars to show for it. What happened next? We crewed a Cardovan lancer ship and impaled our own deity with a void spear. For all the grief he caused my people, that bugger really didn't put up much of a fight. But the war still raged, so the apostatics built the huge fortress on the hill to repel Wiccan counterattacks. Of course, when the dust cleared and the war was over, the newfangled apostatic union let it fall into ruin, till the mercenary last Velicalis took it over, of course. Past few years, Quill's garnered a reputation or something. You'd think the union would have done something about it sooner, but the larger the gears, the slower they grind, I guess. What's a Wiccan contract? Things gotten so comfy in the union, people forgotten their history? Well, I'll be damned. For as long as people can remember, Wiccans have acted as mediators between gods and their worshippers. He strokes his chin. Kind of like the lawyers of the divine, I guess. Supposedly they acted in the best interests of both mortals and the gods, bonding both in magical contract that made sure neither got scuppered over. Except here in Quill, our Wiccans fucked us. The terms were all in Engwyn's favor. We can't have been alone, because 40 years ago the apostatics started the God War, and we weren't the only place to slay their own god, let me tell you. So I wanted to ask, so was there anything else? I'm looking for some Darkstar mercs, and I need to explore the Oneric Isles. Colwick taps his nose. Inquisition business, eh? Don't worry, old Colwick can keep a secret. Well, you might try asking Nud, who's a hired muscle over at the Scryshroom company. Gotta say, he's a prickly fella. I've never gotten on with him too well, but I know he used to work for Darkstars. But to be honest, I doubt you'll find much in old Quill. You'll be wanting to reach Hallowtown in Hallowshire to the south. There's a Union Council building in Bustling Dock where all sort of skyships lay anchor. But to pass over the Union Gate Bridge, you'll need an apostatic Union passport. Each one will grant you passage over a single bridge. As a certified Waitmaster, I have one thing I'm not using. But Inquisitor or not, you'll have to earn my trust if I'm going to hand it over. So you need help tracking down God worshippers. He leans forward and speaks low. Aye, folk have been afeared recently, see? The soil's dying and harvests are down. Merchants want to buy our Scryshroom more than ever, but we can't meet demand, so some have been flirting with the old ways. What makes the old ways so bad? He sighs. It's been 40 years since the God War, 40 years since the apostatics told the Wiccans and their gods to go fuck themselves, 40 years since me and the lads drove a void spear through our own god's eye, that cruel, violent bastard of a god, Engwyn. And in those 40 years, folk have forgotten how bad it was under the divine tyrant and his Wiccan lackeys. Sure, we had bountiful harvests, and our purses were bulging, but our sons and daughters were taken from us, and the soil was fertilized with their blood. Now our old god Engwyn's been dead for long enough, but they say as long as people still believe, some part of a god can live on. So there's been murmuring of some folk trying to bring him back, and that's got the rest of us scared shitless. Trouble with a small town like this, we all know each other, and the guilty parties won't talk to me, but you're an outsider and an Inquisition agent to boot. Need you to ask around and try to find any Wiccan sympathizers, so we can sort this out all quiet-like, before the villagers start lopping each other's heads off in a frenzy. Find someone out, and I'll dispense you a Union passport. That'll grant passage to Hallowshire. Alright, see what I can do. He sighs in relief. You have my thanks, newcomer. Just as soon as you find someone out of sorts, you let me know. No entry. The owner of this place won't let you pass this point. Let me pass this point. I demand it. Well, this is cool. Cool little zone. I don't actually want to talk to anyone here right now, though. I was hoping to find like a mercenary, not group, but like a like a shop where I could buy a better weapon, but I don't really see any. What's confusing to me is I thought this is the sacred shroom, right? But the sign to Quill was somewhere else. So like, why did going to the sacred shroom bring me to Quill? The Wobbly Noggin. The old pub serving ale and providing bed and board. Both of them say that? Hallowshire note been presided over by Hallow Town Council. All right, so we can't get to Hallowshire or the Wobbly Noggin yet, I don't think. Yeah, the lift is not yet active. So we have to do the Quill stuff before we can do anything else. So I do want to go back and visit what's-his-name to drop off the Scryshroom tea I got for him. Oop, almost jumped off a cliff. I don't know if that can kill me. I don't remember if there's fall damage or not. Oh, nice. Mana potion. I don't have a map yet. So I don't know exactly where I am. I think this is a new location for me, though. Door is barred from the other side. Is this interactive? Nope. Okay, I have to take the lift down into there somehow. This will become easier once I find a map. Come on. There we go. Another delusion point. I don't know what to spend it on exactly right now. Belief is everything. As your delusions grow, so does your power. Find enough glimmers of delusion by exploring the world or completing quests, and they will grant you a full delusion. Delusions can be spent to increase one of your core attributes. Lockpick agility skills, health, governs combat skills, and attack and defense. All right, I'll figure out what to put this in shortly, because I don't want to put it in something and then find out like, oh, my equipment, I need like one more strength to wield this. Or like, oh, I need one more agility to use this item. So we'll do that after. This game is very cool. Did I already check that thing out over here? I did not. What exactly is it? Oh. Scholar has one eye pressed into his looking glass. As you approach, he squints, takes a deep breath, and is suddenly still. Pleased to meet you. Chew! As the scholar sneezes, he sprays a thick globule of mucus over his looking glass lens. He wipes his face and looks perturbed. These bloody mushroom spores. Why did I have to be sent to Quill of all places to make this damned map? Can I get a copy of your map? Look, I don't have time to pander to your every want. The chief cartographer needs this urgently. They turn to look at you, then pause as if realizing something. Actually, you know what? Maybe you can have a copy, as long as you're willing to work for it. I can do that. What do you need? I'm making a new kind of map, a magical map that tracks the shifting movements of these islands and corrects itself. The real work is with the cipher spell we're weaving together, but I need someone to go out and anchor the spell to specific landmarks. Take this cartography notebook. When you get a landmark, equip it and use it to make a cipher chart. The map will show up in your journal. If you obtain a compass, you'll be able to see yourself on the map too. There are 4 scholars working on this map, including myself. Together we cover Hallowshire, the Endless Realm, the Clockwork Kingdom, and Pwill. You should also visit my colleagues to see what landmarks they need. The most important region we need mapping is Hallowshire. I'll note those locations in your log. I'm sure whoever marks them will be rewarded. So is there any reward? Well, you get access to the map itself, but I suppose we can throw in a few coins for each cipher chart too. If you manage to map the Hallowshire region, I'd consider giving you a recommendation to the Erudite Academy. Can you see it flying up there in the sky? Being allowed to access it is a real privilege, believe me. What landmarks do you need for this region? He sniffs, wipes his nose on his sleeve, and then points to the towering fortress behind you. First one I was supposed to chart was the old God War fortress over there called the Blinding Light. Only I heard it's infested with pirates and smugglers, so I was going to wait until I felt better. He looks sheepish. Then there's another fortress to the southeast of the island, but seen that huge creature that's floating above it? No, that one will have to wait. Finally, there's a sacred shroom, as the locals call it, to the northwest, only that's the largest mushroom I've ever seen, so it would truly destroy my sinuses. Okay, got it. You're sure? Very well. Okay. Cool. We've been to all of these locations, and we should be able to make this map. Okay, so I haven't made any map charts yet. Okay, so we found a map. Very good. So cool. So pretty. It is a little bit vapor wavy, you know? And I don't just mean because it's like a PS1 looking game, or it's trying to be a throwback style game. I mean like the color scheme and all the architecture and stuff, like the Roman columns everywhere and stuff. It literally does look like a Mac Plus album cover. Squirming Godlet. A squirming, writhing creature that looks at you with wet, beady eyes and occasionally squeals with some unknown intent. The various factions in Hallowshire might be interested in such a specimen. Perhaps the Apostatic Union or the Wiccans. Interesting. This game is very cool looking. Alright, they had a throwing knife. Huh. What is making that sound? Ooh. What did that do? Hey. Oh, oopsie. No. Cipher Spear shoots a bolt of magical energy to damage a single foe. Though the Apostatic Union heavily regulates the use of offensive magic, its navy donates huge sums to universities to ensure the refinement of such spells. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's rad. I'm rolling like shit. There we go. I don't know if that gives me experience to actually pick the locks. Probably was a big waste, but that's fine. Ooh, return home in Cypher Spear. Okay. How do I cast magic? Ooh, we get spell slots. Okay, that's interesting. Ooh, not what I wanted. Controls. Spell is right mouse button. Oh, okay. That's exciting. We got our first spell. I would like to play as a mage in this game because I haven't really played as a mage in an RPG in a long time. You know, I feel this is kind of a weird thing. I don't know if it's just confirmation bias or whatever, but you often see people be like, oh, I don't really, you know, like people will be like, oh, I wish magic was better in Dark Souls. No one plays a mage, but I've known so many people who play mages and stuff like that in games like this. Like, I feel like most people, when they play RPGs, want to use magic and often do and really rely on it. And while I'm sure that there's a very large majority of people who, when they play like a Souls game, just want to be Guts from Berserk or whatever, katanas and greatswords are in fact the most commonly used weapons in those games, I believe. The thing is, I just feel like a lot of people just use magic as well. Oh fuck. So I'm not sure. I feel like it's an overrepresented thing. In my years of playing like Dark Souls 2 PvP, like magic builds were the death in that arena. They were so brutal to fight against, especially like mundane builds that use like dark bead and stuff were just like brutal to fight against, and they were so prolific. So I just wonder how many people actually play these games as a mage. When I think of like Lunacid, for example, like magic is very powerful in Lunacid, and the mage type weapons are like the preferred skills for speed, or preferred weapons for speedrunners. So it's just one of those things I think about of like, if I play magic, am I going to be a special snowflake, or am I going to be the same as everyone else? I feel like an all magic run is a little bit, I don't know. I worry that it could be boring to watch. But we're playing magic in this. That's what matters. Maybe I'll end up using magic in my Elden Ring playthrough. I'm not sure yet. I have never played a Dark Souls game as a magician. Magic is just so good in those games, especially for PvE, that it's like, I just never really felt the need to. I always enjoyed just playing more unique builds. Greetings, Confessor. Have you stopped in for a little chat? About that tea you wanted. Got you some Scryshroom. Ah, Confessor, this is exactly what I was looking for. How thoughtful of you. He removes his belt, from his belt, a tiny metal teapot. He sips some loose tea in the filter, and to your surprise, you notice it already contains boiling water. If you would be so kind as to wait a moment, Confessor, I really must let this brew. You wait for an uncomfortable few minutes in total silence while the Inquisitor stares at his miniature teapot. Finally, he seems satisfied. He pours the liquid into a cup and takes a sip. He frowns and is silent a moment. Confessor, this is, excuse me, damn fine tea. I knew it was going to do this. He did Dale Cooper. He did a Dale Cooperism. Twin Peaks. It's in everything. It's the most influential show of all time. He takes another sip. I've tried an extraordinary number of teas in my time, and this is one of the best. Yep, this is, he's literally quoting Twin Peaks. My wife is going to love it. Please take this as recompense. Beads of sweat appear on the Inquisitor's forehead, and he seems to be staring at something only he can see. He mutters to himself, damn fine tea indeed. You think it's probably best to leave him be. I don't need anything else from him. Hey! Okay, so we have 2 Delusions now. I can Persona 1, Might 1. I should get my lockpicks and like agility up as well so that I stop fucking breaking all my lockpicks, but we'll want to start maxing wisdom soon too. The level spread here is going to be tough. But I wanted my charm up just in case it became relevant. Oh shit, I actually meant to use my map. Because this place was a special landmark, I think, wasn't it? The chart you created in your cartography notebook. The chart is enchanted with the cipher. To magically update even if the landscape changes, you can give it to the Academy Scholar for a reward. Okay. What is this? Oh, this is the map. I see. Here we are. Very good. So now we just have to go and map the other areas.